You know the story, flying saucer lands, little green men come out, we take them to our leader, that of course being Taylor Swift. But not all first contact stories play out that way. Some are full of adventure, others pose philosophical questions about our place in the universe, and a few just get plain weird. Today I'm sharing 5 excellent first contact books that I've read recently, and whether or not this is your first contact with me and my channel, I hope that you'll like this video and subscribe to my channel. Up first is Calculating God, and in this one a spider-like alien lands its ship right outside Toronto's Royal Ontario Museum and asks to see a paleontologist. That's the weird and wonderful start to this book, which sets the stage for one of the most thought-provoking sci-fi books I've ever read. The story follows Tom Jericho, and he's that paleontologist with his own personal stuff going on, and he strikes up an unlikely friendship with the alien Hollis. Clearly, these aliens aren't here to conquer Earth. They're a scientific bunch who are more interested in fossils and the universe's big mysteries. In fact, Hollis soon shares with Tom that all of their scientific research has led them to believe in God. And that sets the book up for a whole bunch of deep and really fascinating conversations between Tom and Hollis, human and alien. They're talking about evolution, they're talking about faith, and so much more. The complex philosophies they cover and the arguments that these characters have with one another, it's far from stale or boring. For a certain kind of reader, it's actually really exciting and interesting. That being said, this book is heavy on dialogue and big ideas. It's a sci-fi gem that I feel does first contact in this original, profound way. And my second book about first contact books is a book called First Contact. This novella is a ride that grabs you from the first page and doesn't let go. The premise is classic first contact story, as it should be, since, like I said, that's the name of the book, but with a few small tweaks. The aliens in this one show up after an eclipse, and they're basically just looking for plants and animals that they can bring back to their homeworld to eat and to help them survive. But of course the military grabs them, throws them in quarantine, the aliens' health quickly declines. It's not a great start to human-alien relations. The story really comes alive with the main character Renee, and she's trying to figure out what's going on with these aliens as she goes along this journey from shock, oh crap, there's aliens, to empathy of their situation. And that's the heart of the book. And she's trying to communicate all the time with August. He's this alien who seems to be in charge of the group that's landed on Earth. And the growth of their relationship, Renee and August, is really well done, really well paced. The language barriers that they have to overcome are really good as well. Also, the book mixes in a few fantasy elements, like a kind of magical life force that these aliens have, and the fact that they look like demonic winged genies, kind of. But is that a reflection? You know, Renee has to think, is that a reflection of their character? Is that just the way they look? TBD. And of course, it's got a lot of great first contact stuff throughout it, like, do we choose fear or curiosity about these beings? Do we believe what they're telling us about why they're here? Should we doubt them? Do we need to fight them? Should we just talk with them? It feels refreshingly fresh, though, despite it being similar to a lot of other books. And that's because it's kind of a toss-up whether or not the aliens are good guys or bad guys, if the humans are really the bad guys in this galactic meetup, maybe. And while I'm not usually a fan of cliffhanger endings, this one works since the book is so short. You'll absolutely want to and need to read the next book in the sci-fi novella series as soon as you finish the first one. Third on my list of first contact books that I just read recently is Walking to Aldebaran. And this was a rapid-fire sci-fi novella that has some Piranesi-like vibes to it. Basically, there's a giant artifact outside the orbit of Pluto that's a giant maze and leads to other worlds if you go to the right places inside of it. And Gary Rendell is an astronaut who went on the team to explore this artifact. Only now he's lost and has been wandering around for who knows how long inside this maze, trying to find a way back home to Earth. All the while, he's had it kind of rough. He's had to try and stay alive by defeating these vicious interstellar monsters that keep popping up and trying to understand the strange aliens that he runs to in the labyrinth. There's a dark humor throughout it that I really enjoyed as Gary seeks to understand where he is and what exactly has happened to him. Next up, I wanted to talk about Beautyland. And in this one, Adina is born in the late 1970s and believes she's an alien. As she grows up, she keeps logs about these crazy Earthlings that she's interacting with around her, then she sends these reports to her superiors, who are other aliens in a galaxy far, far away. Obviously, because of this disconnect between where she is and what she is, she feels out of place. She feels lonely, and she's really different, to say the least. She doesn't feel at home on Earth, that's what I'm saying. And she yearns to be with other people, other beings, I should say, like herself. Anyway, eventually she's encouraged to share these logs with other people, these logs that she keeps on human behavior. And when she does, they're a huge hit with people. People love them. And she's suddenly thrust into this role as a deep, thoughtful artist. I cranked through the first half of this book. The back half slows down a little bit, so I didn't get through it the last several chapters as quickly. And in my mind, it's still up in the air by the end as to whether Adina is an alien or if she wasn't actually an alien the entire time. And I think that's the mark of a good book. It keeps you thinking about it long after you've read it. Like I said, this one, still a toss-up in my mind. And the last book I want to talk about is Mickey 7. And that's the name of the protagonist in this sci-fi book. He's an expendable of a new human colony on an icy planet. And what exactly is an expendable? Well, it's a human whose consciousness is uploaded to identical copies of a man named Mickey. One of these copies is activated every time the previous Mickey dies, which Mickey does a lot of dying since that's his job, doing the dangerous, deadly jobs for the good of the colony. Hence the title Expendable. But the 7th iteration of Mickey, dubbed Mickey 7, is presumed dead during a mission, only he doesn't actually wind up dying. So the problem becomes how 2 Mickeys can exist at once, which is a big no-no, and the resources of this colony are really scarce, so they're gonna have to share rations. And that's the secret Mickey 7 has to try and protect while simultaneously navigating the new knowledge that the human colony has been set up on a planet where there's previously existing sentient life, a la why this is a first contact book I'm talking about. And that's an even bigger problem because the humans in charge don't really seem to care about making this a positive first contact experience. They don't really want to share this planet with anything else. Ultimately, Mickey 7 is a solid sci-fi novel with a good premise and believable tension. Side note, there is a movie, of course, based on this book that's pretty good, starring Robert Pattinson and Mark Ruffalo. They make the adaptation well worth watching. There you have it, 5 books that feature first contact with an alien species. Let me know in the comments what's the best first contact book you've ever cracked open, or if there's one that you've read recently that you really like, let me know in the comments. And as always, happy reading.